Although April might be on its way out, between horror hits, fighting bouts, and anime ball rolling ridiculousness, we've got a lot to go through in this week's hottest deals.
After taking a year out to pump up its muscles and pick out some new tights, WWE came roaring back into the ring earlier this year with 2K22. And we'd have to say it was time well spent. The newest entry in the mega popular wrestling franchise has refined the combat to a degree that makes it accessible to newcomers while still offering plenty of depth for those who are already well schooled in the art of elbow drops and steel chair shots. But if you'd rather be calling the shots than taking them, My GM mode puts you in charge of your very own wrestling franchise to see if you can keep the fans satisfied. Now 25% off the WWE 2K22 cross-gen bundle means you'll be good to go whether you're drop-kicking fools on an Xbox One or enjoying the smooth 60fps frame rate of the Xbox Series X and S.
Just last week, we received the massive news that Assassin's Creed Origins will soon be heading onto Xbox Game Pass. But if you just can't wait that long to strap on a wristblade, the Chronicles trilogy is now 70% off. Played as a 2.5D platformer rather than the open-world adventures that Assassin's Creed fans will be used to, the Chronicles trilogy also uses a lush, brushstroke art style to give the whole thing a slightly different flavour. Don't worry though, there will still be plenty of things to leap off and plenty of bad guys to poke holes in. Each of the 3 games takes you to a different part of the world to continue doing your part in the seemingly never-ending battle between Templars and Assassins. Take a trip to 16th century China with Ezio Auditore's star pupil, wander over to 1840s India to put those pesky Brits back in their place, or just have a play with Nikolai's mechanical winch and Anastasia's helix blade. Trust me, it'll make sense eventually. I swear, one of these days an Assassin's Creed game is going to send us somewhere things are chill.
To really show off the power of the Xbox Series X, you need a game that's dripping in style. You need a series that's been looking good and kicking butt since the 90s. You need the special edition of Devil May Cry 5. In the latest entry of this iconic demon-slaying series, our pale-haired hero Dante is joined by the cocky katana-wielding Nero and a new character called V, who actually manages to out-emo the other two by summoning nightmarish creatures to do his bidding. Whether you're relying on black magic or good old-fashioned gunpowder, Devil May Cry 5's fast-paced action looks unbelievably slick in 120 FPS. In a game that values lightning-quick reflexes as much as this one, those extra frames can be absolutely vital. Now that the special edition is half price, now could be the perfect time to make a deal with the devil.
The great thing about Final Fantasy games is that you never know what's going to come next. Just look at Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. One minute you're chatting to a little mouse fella and running around on your chocobo, the next you're squaring off with a T-Rex or doing battle with a horse made of fire. And on top of the series' unique brand of magical weirdness, the 12th game delivers another touching tale about a couple of youngsters taking on the forces of evil, as well as a rich set of RPG mechanics that will have you poring over menus for hours just to make sure you're ready for the next time a bunch of slime monsters try to get up in your business. The Zodiac Age is the definitive version of Final Fantasy XII, expanding the range of characters you can control and even throwing in some spruced up 60 FPS visuals for good measure, and it can be yours this week for just half the normal price.
If you're not familiar with Code Vein, then the basic premise of the game is going to be easily the most metal thing you'll hear this week. The world has become overrun with monsters, and we've decided to start reanimating corpses into vampiric super soldiers in a last-ditch effort to save mankind. In practice, this sinister concept makes for a super stylish open-world adventure game with a meaty combat system inspired by the Dark Souls games. So yes, you are going to spend a lot of time dodge rolling away from enemies with weapons much larger than your entire body. Thanks to the wonders of necromancy, you also get a bunch of sweet cyborg upgrades to help you take on an enemy horde. Handy little additions like scorpion tails and wolverine claws to keep you from biting the dust a second time. Now 80% off, Code Vein is ideal for players who have been enjoying Elden Ring but feel like it's just a little too cheerful.
On the other hand, if you're looking for a game that's sure to add some sunshine to your life, then Katamari Damacy Reroll is now 67% off. To be a little ball, just rolling around the world, hoovering stuff up and slowly becoming larger and larger. No worrying about work, death or taxes, just the constant pursuit of something new to roll over. That's the life. there's really no description I can give that will make Katamari Damacy Reroll make a lick of sense, or that can entirely account for why it's so satisfying to roll around scooping stuff up like this, but there's just something totally delightful about looking across the game's vibrant cartoon world, seeing the trees, buildings, and bystanders, and thinking, they too can become part of my ball.
Resident Evil Village really is a game that was made for ray tracing. Playing on Xbox Series X and S, every puddle, mirror, and overzealously polished floor now has a chance to have something utterly horrifying reflecting in it, ensuring that you spend the entire game frantically looking over your shoulder. And you'd be right to be so jumpy. The latest installment in the acclaimed survival series is just crawling with nightmarish scenes for you to stumble on. From werewolves who stalk through the moonlight to towering vampire ladies, there really doesn't seem to be a room in the whole darn village that isn't harboring something designed to make your skin crawl. But now that Resident Evil Village is half price, at least the price shouldn't give you a fright.
Scarlet Nexus once again sees the world under attack from mysterious monsters, although thankfully this time we've got a less gruesome plan than chucking dead bodies at them. Instead, we're gonna go and rely on a bunch of super-powered adolescents. I mean, it worked for the Power Rangers. Fortunately, the characters you'll be taking into battle in this anime-styled action RPG all come with some pretty badass abilities. You'll be conjuring fire, creating copycats, chucking folks around with your mind, and using all sorts of other sweet psychic powers to defeat your monstrous foes. In between all the fireballs and thunderbolts, there's also a rich story about the relationships between each character, one that continues to deepen and expand through the game's DLC. So if you're looking for a new anime epic to sink your teeth into, pick up Scarlet Nexus now at 50% off, or head over to the Xbox Game Pass library to download it if you're a subscriber. So, what do you think? Is this the week you say, to hell with it, and see how special Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition really is, or the one where you declare yourself the King of the Ring? Are you in the mood for some anime antics, or do you deserve a little bit of assassinating, just as a treat? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be back next week with some more amazing Xbox discounts. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell before you go.
But before we go, let's talk about Back 4 Blood, the folks who brought this video along with us. Back 4 Blood places you in the middle of a huge war against the Ridden, parasitic zombies with a taste for human flesh. How fortunate then that you don't have to face this threat solo. With a co-op story mode and competitive online multiplayer available to you, allowing you both to fight the Ridden and play as them. The Tunnels of Terror expansion pack has just arrived, featuring new areas named Ridden Hives to go and bust, with new weapons, weapon skins, and even playable cleaner characters. Just know you'll be in for a bloody good time no matter what. You can pick it up on the Xbox Store or on Xbox Game Pass.
Surviving's not enough. We've got to fight.
All of my best friends like to go and get fucked up, and they talk about all the lies they never got to live.
Let's go.